Spawning in the bottom position as the red Zerg. He's representing the dragon. He is Ragnarok. And his opponent up here in the top, he is the blue.
Game paused.
Patience. All right, so a little bit of a pause, and a little bit of a pause. Make sure that to let you guys know that you can hit up that Matcherino page. Sushi just linked it in the chat using the code AX266, and you'll be adding 50 cents to the prize pool for free. And that's my favorite word, free. And money.
Game resumed.
And prize pool. Not necessarily in that order, but I digress on that point as we are back in the game. So right now, nothing too crazy appears to be happening. These guys going to be going for a pretty standard opening, I'd assume, for game number 1. Now we do see the probe going to be coming out for a little bit of a scout as well. And we should be seeing him warping that Nexus pretty soon to get this game underway. Ragnarok even going to be going for a very aggressive economic opening here. 3 hatch before pool. And actually just going to decide against it now that he's seen the probe coming across the map. That would have been pretty funny to see. 3 hatch is it's very unsafe. But at the same time, if you can get that drone production started, if you can kind of keep that base safe and start getting your creep spread to defend that position, you're going to be in a much better spot, and it just really gives you that early game economic advantage. All right. So we do see Ragnarok is going to pull off the gas. Basically, what that allows him to do as a Zerg player is they kind of build up, because a lot of early game Zerg units don't really require gas. The Queens, they're only 150 minerals. The Lings are only 50 minerals for a set of 2. So it's really good to kind of just get that additional mineral income so that you can kind of just expand a little bit more quickly as well. But we do see Stargate coming out of Patience. Now with this, we have seen really 2 differing branches from players. 3 if you're including the craziness of Zest and going straight into Void Rays, which, by the way, Patience is doing right now. So, oh my goodness, this game probably just about to get jumped on its head. Now, it does look like he is instead going to be going for Twilight Council behind this, so he's not going to go too crazy with the Void Rays. That first Void Ray is just going to be very good for kind of getting rid of this Overlord spread, denying vision as well. But he can go into Phoenix behind this if he so chooses. We have seen back in the beta, Phoenix Adept was a very popular style, and he is making quite a few Adepts, I must say. And yeah, there we go. We do have the Adept Glaives going to be coming in. Patience did get scattered out. That third base is up and operational. Don't see any additional Phoenix. We don't see any additional Void Rays here except for these 2. So now Ragnarok really has to make a decision of what he's going to do for the defense. So far, Ro4 is the choice. Now, with the addition of the Void Rays, I do think that you're going to have to make a couple more queens in order to make this effectively worth it. Otherwise, you're just going to really get cleaned up here, because the Roaches, while they're good versus the Adepts, they don't really shoot up, and Bile's not going to really work in this situation. Not with Patience control. But one thing to note as well, Ragnarok continuously getting supply blocked here. So consistently having to remake these Overlords, that is a very big mineral income at this stage in the game, and it's really going to slow down this defense. We do see Patience going to be coming on in here with the first wave, the first shade, just trying to draw away the Zerglings while they head to the third. And there's not really that much here to defend other than the Queens, which don't really do a lot of damage to the Adepts. You can kind of see they're tickling them as this goes on, but the real issue for Ragnarok now is gonna be that follow-up. He is going into the Void Rays. Massive amounts of upgrades coming in for them, and he's got the additional Stargate coming up, but he is supply blocked. And already, look at this. 5 workers going down. Ragnarok gonna go on the attack, but he doesn't really have anything to deal with the air. He's just gotta buy time for that Spire to come up. I still don't know how to use that, so I'm gonna be trying it out during the series. But yeah, Ragnarok is now kind of stuck in this reactionary position where he's going to have to kind of stay a little bit aggressive onto Patience's side of the map, just kind of take away that pressure, because as that Void Ray count starts to get bigger and bigger, it's just going to be hard to kind of respond here. Now, Ragnarok kind of scouting out for the bases, trying to make sure that there is no additional income for Patience right now other than this third base. But still, Patience does have the opportunity to go in here, get those small pickoffs, just send in a couple of Adepts at a time. Adept Glaive's going to help out wonderfully in that situation. And now we see that huge explosion of gateways with charge, with additional zealots. Everything's just coming up Patience right now, and I just don't know how Ragnarok is going to get out of this one. He's going to play a little bit behind. So getting 3 workers there, that is a pretty nice start, but the Void Ray is going to be the real story here. Needs to focus down something a little bit more useful for him. And looking at it, he is just going to fight the Corruptors straight up. They just do massive amounts of damage with their prismatic alignment there. Getting 5 drones and going to clean up quite a few of these Corruptors. Although I feel like this might have been an overextension from Patience. He isn't going to lose that last one, but just taking a look at that, losing 4 Void Rays for only 8 Corruptors. That's not the best for him there. You know what? I love this skin for the Corruptors. Like just those little cannons coming out the back, or thrusters rather. It's really fun to see. But you know, he's gonna try and get some damage done on the Fourth, keep in mind that is going to explode in potential there, but here we go. The Zealots buffering quite well for the Archons in the back so that they can get a lot of damage done. The Void Rays cleaning up some of those Queens as well. The Corruptors have to come home to defend. They're just not in a good position right now, and although Patience is kind of playing it a little bit slower, backing up, getting the retreat going, he is still doing massive amounts of work, forcing additional roaches to be pulled in. Looks like Patience, though, will get cleaned up here just barely. Quite the fight there. Oh, that's a pretty painful pickup there for Patience as well. He is dropped in supply. The Corruptors now have free range of the sky because you just don't have anything on the ground that can deal with them. He's going to go straight in for the main base. He does get that. He got the fourth as well, so Patience going to be struggling with that income now. And, yeah, now he is going to be... he's going to be in a pretty good position. Maxed out, coming on in. Storm is going to be complete, so that is a little bit of a saving grace. It's going to help out with the Ravagers in the back. But I don't know if he's really going to have enough to handle this. One big storm going to go down. Blankets a lot of this army, but it's not the end of the world for Ragnarok to just eat a couple of these shots. The Biles as well going to keep him off the fourth base. Corruptors cleaning up the natural as well, so that means there are pretty much no Nexus left where he can mine efficiently. Looks like the Storms, though, starting to whittle down Ragnarok's forces. The question is he just going to go for it with these additional roaches coming on in? Now, on the other side of the map, we do have a couple of Zealot run-bys doing massive amounts of work. But, actually, you know what? I think Patience is okay. I was worried that he was going to go a little bit overboard with the Void Rays, but after forcing out this many Corruptors, he seems to be in a much better position than he was. And, you know what, saying that, he did lose it. He has lost a ton of Nexi, so maybe not the greatest of spots. I should just say that he's kind of stabilized here as Ragnarok kind of backs off and gives him a little bit of space. Alright, so now Patience playing a big-time catch-me-up, however. He has re-established his bases almost, and he is still doing a little bit of damage out on the map. These Adepts just killing off a couple of drones here and there. So that's always some good damage. He wants to kind of keep the army back at home while he gets that done. But now it looks like Ragnarok is going to strike. There's going to be a little bit more for him to contend with. In addition to those storms, which kind of cleaned him up quite nicely last time, he's going to have to deal with these Immortals in the back. But we do have a pretty big double prong coming on in. So here we go. Patience. Going to pop that shield battery a little bit early, just trying to keep that Nexus alive as long as possible. If that goes down, he's going to fall a little bit too far behind Storms. Gonna tank a little bit of this army, but it's not going to be enough. The Corruptors as well, just going to eat the Stalker shots and kill off that Nexus in the main. Right. I like the little bit of a tech switch we are seeing with Ragnarok right now. He is going to go for just tons of Banelings off the back of this. He's going to be able to clean up those Zealots in the front and allow his Ravager Roach army to kind of dive right on top of those tanky Archons, those tanky Immortals. And here we go. From here on out, I think this is pretty much just Ragnarok's chance for these non-stop attacks. He's able to remax quite efficiently, very quickly here, as we see the Baneling's going to be diving on top of those Zealots. That will get cleaned up. The shield battery that was popped is now gone as well, and Patience starting to falter in supply. Reinforcements should be starting to stream across the map, but as the Archons fall, there really isn't too much else for Patience to do. The fourth base is gone, the Stalkers are down, GG is called, and Ragnarok. A pretty interesting game, to say the least. I definitely would have wondered if Patience may have made a mistake committing as much as he did to the Void Race, because we did see that he got the +1. He did get that additional Stargate, and he just really didn't do anything with it. After getting a small force, he tried to switch off of it, and that kind of slowed him down a bit, which allowed Ragnarok a lot more room to breathe. Alright, so now we are going to be hopping into Oxide for our next map. Now, Oxide, it's one of those maps. It's got a long attack route to start things off, but you can kind of shorten that in the later stages of the game. So if you're going to reinforce an army, that's really going to be the best play to kill off those rocks. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of tension in this one, I feel. But I digress on that point, because we are just going to hop straight into it after a solid game number 1. This guy in the top. Representing the dragon once again, he is Ragnarok. And his opponent down here, spawning as the blue Protoss, he is Patience. Now that is a very early probe scout here. That is going to be able to deny this base for quite a bit of time. And as you can kind of see, Ragnarok might just decide to go for the third base. We have seen Zerg players just decide that's not really worth it to deal with this first annoying probe. Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting here. He is going to be just kind of keeping it out front, just to make sure there's not that additional probe here. As we do see that Ragnarok going to be going for the spawning pool first, which will allow him to be a little bit more aggressive. And this has to ring some alarm bells for Patience. How heavy is he going to commit to some sort of pressure? Is he going to go for roaches off the back of this? Do I need to finish my wall quickly, or can I throw down my Nexus? All these questions are ringing in Patience's mind right now. And yeah, this is nice. It's just going to force a reaction out of Patience without being too over-aggressive, I feel. All right, so Stargate once again. The question is he going to go a little bit crazier with it? Is he going to maybe just do a little bit more standard? Phoenix, they're not the greatest in the later stages of the game, but they can be good for some early damage and to kind of force a reaction out of Ragnarok as in the previous game. The problem is, when he did force the reaction, it was the perfect reaction to clean him up. So that was a little bit of an issue for him there. But no, it's just gonna be that Oracle. So I like that. Nice, simple, little bits of damage. Without being too crazy here. Now, Patience, to his credit, is actually a little bit behind in terms of getting that Nexus up. That's a little bit worrying here. The fact is, you do need to kind of stay, if not equal on bases with your Zerg opponent, you need to be within at least one base. And as Ragnarok goes up to his own third, like just getting your natural up now is not the best thing. But behind this, he is going to commit once again to the Void Ray tech. Looks like Ragnarok has not started his lair just yet either. But he is going to have some time to do that, especially after seeing that additional Stargate come on down. Void Ray is going to be a little bit of a tell as well. And yeah, there you go. He sees the Stargate, and now he can kind of start that reaction. Start the lair pretty soon. Get a couple of additional queens and, you know, go for corruptors or hydralisks as the situation warrants. So far, so good here. We kind of have stabilized in this position where both sides are kind of just powering up. Neither side really going to be on the other side of the map, other than a couple of Lings trying to run this Void Ray around. Now, again, we do kind of see that Patience hasn't invested a lot into the Stargates, and he hasn't really done anything with them at the moment. We already did see him kind of get that transition in. He's getting the Twilight Council. He already has the Robo facility as well. The Oracle not really doing enough, not really doing a lot here. He's kind of just flying around. Popping off the Revelations. But yeah, I kind of like this from Ragnarok. He still doesn't really know what's going on here because he hasn't seen any additional tech. But he's kind of got the idea that since he hasn't seen the Void Rays that come across the map, that he's probably not investing heavily into them now. So that is kind of going to be the green light to power up, so to speak, get that infestation pit down, and maybe just go straight up to Hive. Go for lurkers, potentially those additional Vipers for the Yoinks. Just a lot of different moves that he can make here. Ooh, nice pick off there. All right. So it is going to be a Swarm Host response. We do have the Archons going to be coming in, doing a little bit of juggling here, but you know, their days in the circus may be numbered as Ragnarok is going to be defending this location. Now, one really big thing to kind of keep in mind here, take a look at that supply. Patience has really gotten away with not making a lot of army for the longest time here. And unfortunately, he is going to lose the War Prism as well. Might lose the Archon. Just barely does not. I mean, now he's really going to be playing catch me up here as RAGNAROK. What did he just kill his own units there? RAGNAROK going to be moving in, however. We can't focus on that. The Swarm Host going to be popping in. The Immortal will go down very quickly if focus fired here. They have lost their shields, and with those gone, there's really not that much to deal with the Roaches. Storm has complete, but I don't think there's the energy of it just yet. And Patience tried to play it a little bit too patiently. He probably thought he had more time than he did, but RAGNAROK just up over 70 supply there. That's the big story. I don't know what Patience's game plan was at all, but he just played it way too slowly. But this does mean we are going to be hopping into Lightshade with our next map now. Lightshade, this is the standard map. This is the one we kind of expect to see in a series a little bit more, because it's just so I don't want to say easy, but it is a little bit better to get up to that 3 base economy, to kind of pump out the units a little bit more. It does keep you a little bit safer because those separating different attack routes are blocked off, so that's going to help out just a little bit. But you know what? RAGNAROK is looking fantastic in this series. And speaking of the devil, let's introduce our players. So spawning down here in the bottom position of the map is RAGNAROK. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is Patience, or up here in the top. All right. So once again, RAGNAROK has gotten down his spawning pool first. This will be scouted by Patience, who does get a pretty good idea that something tricky is up by the lack of the natural hatch. It's just going to be a little bit more of a confirmation here, as these lings going to be coming across the map, so he will need to wall off. Now, keep in mind, RAGNAROK has not gone for gas off the back of this, so that will allow him to kind of expand back up into 3 base much quicker. This isn't too committed, although he is committing a little bit heavier here to the Zealots right now, getting that additional set in. Just a little bit of a game of chicken here. How far out are you going to be going with the Zealot as RAGNAROK going to start poking his way down? The problem is the probe needs to get over here. He needs to maybe drop down an additional building, get the wall off. But so far, Patience is staying pretty safe. He's not really going to falter to this. Although the Zealots now, that was a bit unfortunate. They do get surrounded, but I think there are enough of them to just barely kind of clean up. Once the wall is complete over there, the Adepts reinforcing. And this aggression from RAGNAROK is done. so that does mean Patience had to spend a little bit more than he was really wanting to hanging out on that wall, so he did have to delay his Nexus quite heavily. We'll have to see if that kind of affects him in the later stages of the game. But yeah, he's just going to come in here. He's just going to kind of scout around with these Adepts. I don't think he really wants to commit. There's nothing really to see at this point. So sending those Adepts in, pretty much a suicide mission for not that much gain. You're really not even going to get that many drones, I feel. But, you know, Patience is going to be mixing it up a little bit here. He's got the Twilight Council coming down, and with the number of Adepts, more than likely it's going to be Glaive. And that being said, he does warp in here. That was maybe not the best warp in, only getting 4 workers for those 4 Adepts. So yeah, that's going to be kind of interesting because I feel like he didn't really want to... I feel like that might not be the best option for him here because now he's going to have to remake a lot of those. He is going for Glaive, so that means he's going to snowball a little bit slower. And yeah, every part of that kind of just slowed him down. RAGNAROK now getting the 3rd base down. The upgrades coming in. Roach is going to be the defense of choice. They're very good in the early game versus these little bits of poking that Patience can do. The Adepts not able to shade away on time, so they will go down. See, I just don't really like what Patience is doing with these. Obviously, if you're going for Adept Glaives, your Adepts are going to be much better in a group. So sending them in 2 by 2 is really just not getting the damage that he needs. Now, we do see him going to be kind of transitioning into Dark Shrine, which is going to prompt an immediate response from RAGNAROK. He's going up to Lair. He should be getting those Spore Crawlers everywhere. Yeah, there you go. And as well, he needs to start getting maybe an Overseer or 2, just to keep it completely safe. Now, here we go. A little bit of a bigger Adept wave coming on in. Most of them will shade into the main base to get cleaned up. But the Natural's still under fire, as well as the 3rd. Not that many drones there, so not that much damage to have, but okay. A little bit better. So really, it's going to be a question of how much DT damage can he get done now. Already going to get some nice worker kills, actually, before getting taken on down. 7 to go down for the cost of 1 DT. And now, off the back of that, if he so chooses, he can kind of start to get some Archon drops off the... he can go up to charge. I think Patience is in a much better position than he has been in the previous games. Yeah, we see that gateway explosion. Finally going to be throwing down his 3rd base as well. Trying to get something done with the War Prism. Not really going to get too much. I think RAGNAROK's kind of choice here is to now get that counter damage done. He wants to slow down Patience the way he's been slowed down. He's only on 39 workers. So this is pretty much what looks to be an all-in situation for him here. The Immortals gonna get surrounded, so they do have to pop their shields. Takes one huge bile, and that's really the only tanky thing that you have left here. It is like this is a dire situation for him. Looks like he did save that one Immortal actually, and another one will pop. Reinforcements going to be streaming across the map for RAGNAROK here. It looks like one corruption there. And as a token, he will be able to get the third base, so that is pretty nice. Like, just has to be careful to keep the snowball going here. Beautiful Prism Micro, I gotta say, from Patience right now, keeping those low hit point Immortals alive. Now it looks like RAGNAROK wants to get out of there with a good chunk of his army and drawn up behind this. He's done exactly what he needs to do to get back in this game. He has slowed down the economy of Patience, and now he just really has to kind of explode in that economy. He doesn't need to do too much else other than that. So Patience just trying to get whatever he can done with this War Prism, but as it gets weaker and weaker, it's going to be harder and harder for him to really get it done. But he does get a nice warp in the main base. I don't think you should keep this as DTs because they are very soft and squishy. So yeah, I like this. I don't like leaving the Immortals behind, however. He is going to lose one of them, but now he can go into Archon drops off the back of this. So Patience once again down below 100 supply. This has really been a low supply game for the most part here. We do see he's going to be going for a pretty big attack. He does have some tanky units here. On the other side, though, his third base is under threat. And I think RAGNAROK just has too much of a defender's advantage in order to make this work. GG is called, so RAGNAROK will take the first series of the night in a stunning 3-0 victory.